how did it impact your ability to create results? And what was the role that it played in the transformation that you've created for yourself?
The support system of people that are doing similar things has really been valuable to me. We have our own chat groups and things like that. And I have collaborations with people that I teach in their programs now as well, and vice versa. A lot of us are mentors and coaches and leaders, and that we're not competition for each other, that we could all have women's retreat. And I want to support every single one of them.
I'm excited to do this conversation today for a couple of reasons. One, I have somebody here in front of us who, a couple of things. One, she has a different type of industry than normally you're used to hearing about. She has both products and then she has some services that she's put together. And so for those of you who are in that type of industry where maybe you might be even in a multi-level marketing company or you have products of your own that you really represent, she's going to be an example of how you use the strategies that we teach inside of the community to grow your businesses. The other thing is, oftentimes, a lot of the clients who come to me, they have been in business for a while. They're not just brand new trying to figure it out and start their businesses. And Tiffany's been in business for 10 years, right? I've had plenty of clients who come to me 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and some who have been trying and never being able to reach that elusive 6-figure mark, let alone getting to the $1 million mark. And so it's always beautiful for me where I get to have a conversation with someone who has been in their business, who has longevity, who knows their stuff, and who gets incredible results. And then to be able to help them hit that mark and then go beyond that. And so I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Tiffany today. Tiffany, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell them who you are in the world. The other thing is, I said she does something a little bit differently, so some of you guys might be clutching your pearls a little bit. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Tiffany, tell them who you are and what you're up to in the world.
I am the founder and the chief sexinista of Entice Me and Sexy Survivors, and I am the best in the world at disarming sexual shame so that women leaders can fiercely step into their sexual power and close the pleasure in the gender wage gap.
I love it. It makes me happy when I hear you say, I am the best in the world at.
I really am. I've been doing this a long time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Claim it. Like, it's okay. I want to start with how you connected to this community and where you were in your business and like what that journey was like before stepping into Power Player Nation.
Yeah. So I'd been in business, I think 10 or 11 years when I started in Power Player Nation. I'd met you at eWomen and seen you grow through the years and step into your brilliance and power. And I was working remotely, helping my father with some health issues. And I'd listened to one of your webinars and I was like, okay, that's a done deal, because working for myself, I networked a lot and got a lot of business that way. We went pandemic wise, we shut down. And I needed to take my business virtually, but I also needed really good structure and accountability. And then I was really missing a community as well, which I got all of those things.
I love it. There's some key things that I want to have a conversation with you about that I think will serve a lot of people listening, but I want to ask a few specific questions about the decisions you made to be a part of the community.
Sure.
Why specifically did you choose this community and the programs that I offer or working with me over other opportunities that were available to you?
I'd seen your growth and knew that you were for real, first of all, because I think many times, I'm sure I'm not the only one who signed up for programs that ended up being something that wasn't really beneficial, or they were not as robust as I thought, or wasn't receiving. But I knew you personally and I trusted the people that I knew already worked with you. And I just lost my train of thought.
Say whatever you want to say.
The forgetful berries. I really liked that there was a task every month. I love to do things, and I'm creative and a generator, but I need somebody to tell me, you just do this one thing this month and just do it. And then and I was like, okay, that's what I need, because I can do a million things, but I needed something to really focus on. And the one thing that really did grab me is, you're like, I want to have a private jet. And I'm like, I've always wanted to have a private. I just connected with you on like little things like that. And I think you really talked about how you didn't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, that it could be done differently. And I've always been a night person. I've designed my business to be a night business so that I don't have to get up in the morning, because I just don't do it. And that just see that it could be done differently and still be $1 million business, it was very attractive to me.
I love it. There's two things that you said that I want to bring out. That this last one that you said, that it can be done differently. It can be done any way you desire. That's the thing. People think that in order to cross $1 million in your business, it has to look exactly like someone else's. It can be unique to you while still holding the foundations of what's necessary to create that $1 million business. And once you give yourself permission to do business the way that you want, that's when I think the ease of creating more income comes. Because there isn't the like, I should be getting up at 4 a.m. and going to work out and then meditating and then doing all these things. I don't even start work until 10 a.m. So I don't know what your day looks like. You said you have a nighttime business. Do you mind sharing what a typical day for you looks like, or how you have your weeks blocked out?
Yes, I love to sleep until 10 a.m. That's when my natural rhythm is. So I started my business by doing luxury home parties for sensual wellness products. And so working at night, before that I was in retail and restaurants. So I was most of the time working at night. My day now, I usually get up 8 or 9 and then have my coffee, check my email, go along with that. I've really, since been in your community, really time blocked a lot more. So instead of running myself ragged of doing orders every day and shipping every day and doing posts every day, I block. And so I do orders Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I go to the post office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, things like that. So it's much more organized. I have a day that I do content creation. I have a day that I do calls. I only take clients now on Fridays, things like that really make a big difference in my week. And if it doesn't fit for people, I can be a little bit flexible, but my own time is really important. I'm a workaholic, so because I love what I do. And so making myself take Wednesdays off, and I now take Wednesday and Sunday because I teach a course and it was best for everybody that's in it for Saturday morning. So now Saturday is my dynasty day and I teach my up in the morning and then take Sunday and Wednesday off. And it actually works really well for me.
I love it. My heart's happy listening to you about your time blocking and stuff. I'm like, okay, she did all the things. She did all the things. It's so beautiful to me because it gets to be easy, right? And it gets to be what's easy for you, not what's easy for me. The other thing that you said that I wanted to tap into is the things that you liked about me. What I realized is I could track it to every post that I did where I talked about those things. That's the system that we teach, right? There's a holistic way of using social media so that it's not just, here's my business, buy my stuff, but it's, here's who I am as a human. And I have a business and here's an opportunity for you that you can invite people into. And it changes the game and how people relate to you. They're able to find those little pieces of who you are that resonates with them when you're willing to show up and show yourself in that way. And that's one of the reasons why I love the 100K month blueprint method that we teach, because those 4 C's and those well-rounded ways of posting takes the pressure off of you feeling like a jerk on social media when you show up, but it also connects you to some of your best clients that you'll ever have.
You always, something you always say is that, the people watch you for a long time. I know most people watch me for at least a year before, just because to get comfortable with me. My first coaching client had my card on his desk for an entire year before he felt comfortable reaching out. But somebody jumped in my DMs the other day and was like, that really resonated with me. I've been a long time lurker, but you sounded just like my mom.
Exactly. It's a beautiful process. And one of the things that I posted when we did your announcement for this talk that we were going to do with you, this conversation, was I was talking about consistency. To get the effects of that, consistency is what is required. It's consistent. You need to be consistent with the content, with the layers of the content, and with showing up. And consistency, if you listen to the way Tiffany was talking, she's like, I don't have to post every day. It's not about posting every day or showing up every day. It's about having this pattern of how you show up, and more about how you show up than who you're being in the showing up than the frequency with which you're showing up. But people can count on you to know that you're going to give them some nuggets. You're going to have fun with them. You're going to show them little peeks into your life. How has that been for you? Or what was that journey like of trusting the process of continually putting content out, especially since you already had a business that you had a way of doing things for a decade already?
It is challenging for content for me because my industry, there are so many words that get banned and are, so I would see posts that were getting seen by 4 people or 24 people, and it can get really frustrating. But that's life, and you just keep going in order to just keep doing the things. I know that my message is so powerful and so important in people's lives that even if it just 4 people saw it, that's still more than 4 more people than would have seen it if I didn't post anything. And I did create a private group where I can talk a little bit more openly, and I got a couple hundred members in the first couple of days because people are interested in what I do, but sometimes they don't want all of their friends knowing. And I've had people say, don't even want to accept your friend requests because I'm afraid that my friends will think that I'm working with you. And I'm like, then you probably should be.
It's so funny because I never think about that. Like, we're friends, right? And we've known each other from eWomen Network. And I never thought, I'm associated with Tiffany. People are going to think that I'm using her products and services. And it makes me giggle that there is so much shame around sensuality and all of those things. I don't know what words I can say or not say. And all of those things that it causes people to even think I can't even be associated with a person. And yet it's a direct line to a better life, more money in your business as well. I've seen some of the work that you've done. I've seen some of the transformations in people, like almost in real time. And it's incredibly powerful work. So I honor you for the work that you do and the way that you do it, first and foremost. And I want to talk about your results. Now, before we talk about them, because we're talking about all the stuff that she does, we're going to talk about her results. Before we talk about them, we had this conversation before we turned on the cameras that I was sharing with the team that I didn't even know Tiffany was killing the game like she was. She wasn't one of the people that was like, I just did X, Y, Z. She would celebrate, like, enrolled all these people in my retreat, sold this many, this much. She would do that, but I don't go back and calculate and tabulate it all up. And it's relative for each person to where they were before. And when you said you wanted to do a case study, I'm like, okay, yeah, for sure. Let's do one. Because you have been an amazing part of the community, and I know that you've been killing it. So, like, specifically, what are your results? She sends them to me. And I'm like, this woman has been killing the game. And she hasn't said a single solitary word. So let's talk about that and why that is, because I think that will be helpful. A lot of people see me doing celebrations of myself and celebrations of clients. And I think some people get a little uneasy even about that. And so I want to talk about your journey with that and what you think would support other people as they're listening to us right now.
I'm stealthy. You never know I'm coming for you. I think I had a lot of shame that it took me 10 years to hit $100,000. I had a lot of shame around that I should have been there earlier. I should have been there faster. And accepting that it was to come when it was supposed to come was a big part of that. But also then to say, okay, once I hit that, it's that collapsing time because I hit the second 100,000, or I did 86,000 then in 2 months instead of 10 years. It made a huge difference of collapsing time, but also just giving me the confidence to keep going and to celebrate and to keep celebrating the little wins, no matter if it's $1 or $100,000, to celebrate those things. I think I'm pretty tough on myself. I'm always going, I'm never going to be a 10. I'm always going to put myself as an 8 or a 9 because I know I always have growth. So because I was, even in this last year, I did $200,000, more than $200,000, but it wasn't my goal. So I was like still down on myself, and I didn't really celebrate because it wasn't 300,000. And so that, just the reality of taking a look of what that means in both products. I sell $200 products. That's a lot of $200 product sales. And I do coaching and retreats as well. But up until the last 6 months, I had it taken on private clients for a while because I needed I was focusing on my retreats. So I just brought those back in.
I think it's beautiful. What I want to do right now is I want to take a moment to celebrate you publicly, because I think this might be the first time you've ever talked about it. And so I think you're deserving of that. So if you're watching live inside of the community and you can comment, celebrate with us right now, because you were killing it. You made your 6 figures in 6 months, which is a course that I have, which is really funny. I was like, okay, yeah, because that was like the first step for me with clients. It's like I was getting people to 6 figures in 6 months, and it was beautiful. And then you doubled it, right? And you're like, it wasn't 300,000, but I want to say it the way that, because I want you to anchor in what you've done, because there's not a high percentage of people who create what you've created, right? You're in the top 6% of entrepreneurs right now, and the top 2% of women. And I think that's a big freaking deal to realize that when you look around, there's only 2% of you. 98% of the other people in business haven't done what you've done. And so you created almost $250,000 in your business last year. And that is a big freaking deal. So clapper, you're going to get real noisy around here. I'm going to celebrate you. Congratulations, you did that, girl.
Thank you. No, and that, just the celebration part reminded me of when the first year I went into your big event.
Live? Yeah.
Came on live, yes. And I'd been in your program for a while, and I heard the announcements of admit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I won't have made any of those. And then I was like, damn, I would have made 3 categories. So this year I did get the $100,000 Slayer, because but I would have gotten it the year before too. And I didn't even, I just was like, oh, I'm not in that program. I probably won't even qualify. So I didn't even check. And so even like looking at where you are and looking at what's available, sometimes you don't even realize it.
Yes. I think that's a big thing to bring up. There's so many people in the community. Like, we help a lot of people create results they haven't created before. And we have all these levels of awards that are all the way down from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month. And so many people, I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, there should be more people on this list, or so-and-so's on this list, and they won't turn it in. Even at the $100,000 a month, there are people who won't turn in their paperwork. And I'm like, why didn't you? I don't know. And so there is this thing. It's either shame or there's this dissonance with what we thought we wanted to do and what we did that causes us to go, somehow I'm undeserving of celebrating this thing. And so I'm glad we're having this conversation about it. If you were going to share something with someone who's having a struggle with like shame of where they are, or this dissonance between where they want to be and where they are now, even though they're killing it right now, they're doing incredibly well for themselves, what would be like 1 or 2 things that you would want to share with?
If you are doing what you love, that's important, because I made money in corporate America, but I hated myself. So looking at, even if I was dead ass broke, I would still be happier than I was before. And know that every single person that you touch, you're changing their lives. And when you come to business that way, it changes your message.
Yeah. That's beautiful. How would you say that your life has changed from implementing what we teach and from getting those results or from being inside of this community?
I feel like I'm a richer person, that the friendships that are I have are very genuine and deep and long lifetime friendships. In addition to, I used to look at my bank account and hope that there was $1 in there. And now if there's like, it goes below 10,000, I freak out a little bit. And so just normalizing what that next level of money is, it seems ironic to me that like I used to be like, oh, is there any money? And now, oh, it's below 10,000. I'm going to, or 20,000 actually. Now it's, oh my God, I'm going to hit, if I pay that, like, my payroll is going to go out and it's going to be below $20,000. And before I would have been happy to know that there's anything, $200 in the bank or whatever. So that normalizing what is a lot of money is really important to me, because I grew up with that lack mentality, and that you didn't borrow money and you didn't spend it. And I don't buy into that. And I think you've really helped me with that, of buying into that misbelief of how it can be.
So beautiful. You mentioned your friendships. One of the things I'm most proud of and what I've created is community. There's two things. People always think, oh, I just celebrate money and there should be more. And I'm like, my clients' lives are changing in ways that people can't even fathom. Like, it's not even remarkable it doesn't even remotely look like what they used to have or be and how they will experience life. And I'm proud of that. And I know the money is where the shame is. So that's why I put that out publicly. And it's the community. The community is the space. I come from a pretty big, close family. My cousins are like my sisters and brothers more than they are my cousins. And if we go to a place like SeaWorld or Disneyland or Magic Mountain, there's usually 40 or 50 people instead of there just being like 5 or 10 or 7, something like that. It's huge. And so this community not only is in my ministry, but it's an extension of my family. And to me, it's so beautiful when I look around and I know that it doesn't have to be me reaching out to someone to check on them because you guys are doing it. That it doesn't have to be me cheering somebody along because you guys are doing it. That it doesn't have to be me supporting someone at their event because you guys are doing it. And if you would just share, like, how did that impact having that type of community around you? How did it impact your ability to create results? And what was the role that it played in the transformation that you've created for yourself?
The support system of people that are doing similar things has really been valuable to me. We have here in Southern California, some of us still get together outside of the community and hang out, and we have our own chat groups and things like that. And I have collaborations with people that I teach in their programs now as well, and vice versa, because we all have so many gifts that hearing it from a different viewpoint can make even a big difference in the same message. And so that collaboration piece of that, we're all coaches. A lot of us are coaches, not all of us, but a lot of us are mentors and coaches and leaders, and that we're not competition for each other, that we could all have women's retreats. And I want to support every single one of them because not everybody's going to be a good fit for mine. Some people need to go to Bridget's event instead, or Nori's, or everybody's different. And I also just love the diversity of the community. It's really beautiful.
It's funny because there's always this mention of the diversity in the community. It doesn't matter who it is, there's that mention of that. And I don't think about it because it's how I live my life.
Me too.
It is for me, you know what I mean? And I hear so many people touting diversity. And for them, diversity means there's a couple of other people who don't look like them or believe the same things they believe. And when I look at the mosaic of this community from age, we're not doing that good on the women to men ratio, but in most areas, we're okay from age to race, which is a man-made construct, but let's just throw it out there, to beliefs and religion and spirituality, there is this beautiful mosaic and there is this mutual respect of who each of us be that I don't think can be found anywhere else. And so I'm in deep gratitude that I get to steward and to lead a community that is like that I won't even say by default, it is by design, but we don't have to intentionally be like, we got to diversify, right? It just is because when you show up, you feel at home. You feel welcome no matter who you are. And that's a gift. And so thank you for bringing that up once again, because I sometimes I forget because it's just how I live. So I don't even really think of my community as a diverse community until you like look at the pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't see anybody's community that looks like this. It's truly diverse and it's beautiful. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to do a couple of things. So here's what's going to happen, guys. I have some offers that are on the table. I'm going to talk about those in just a minute because today's the last day to get them. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, you missed it. However, if you're with me live right now, you have an opportunity, and I want to talk about what those offers are and why I decided to put them together. I literally just threw them together last week because I got a nudge, an intuitive nudge, a download from the Holy Spirit, and just weighing on my heart to allow people a different level of access. But I want to talk to Tiffany about one last thing or give her an opportunity to talk to you. And there's two things I want you to look at here. I want you to just share with people from your heart. Any last things you want to say with them that you think are important for their journey? And then also for anybody who is even considering any one of the containers that we offer within our community, what would you want to share with them about their decision-making process for doing so?
Believe in investing in yourself, and I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on personal development throughout my life, but to have a community where you're getting guidance and you're getting coaching and support and community is really different than that. You can do a lot of work on yourself, and a lot of people say, oh, I can do that, but do you do it? That's the thing. Is yes, we all can get the information out there. We have Google. That's a lot different than when we grew up and had to go to the library.
Yes.
But check tapes out.
Learn to do it.
Brian Tracy in my car, a set player. But do you do it? And do you who's holding you accountable? And doing check-in videos every week. And I've slacked off on that. And I've noticed that I'm not as accountable to myself. And so those kinds of things really make a difference. And when I was first to Play Big, I signed up for your program because I was like, I have to know how that feels in my gut to pay that money because that's what I'm charging. And if I don't do that, then I felt inauthentic to myself as well. And to know those challenges, there's months I don't know where that payment's going to come from. But I believe when you put money into the universe, it comes back, that it's energy and that you have to put it out there for it to flow back. And every single month that payment cleared. So it's a leap. You have us read a few books, and it's true. We set upper limits for ourselves that we don't even know. And I just believe that you got to take the step that you're going to spend the money because I bring money up because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with putting out sometime, and it could be other things that are holding you back. Also, we're going to spend the money on something, and it might as well be something that improves your life and improves your business if that's your path. And because we don't know that what's going to happen. So you could keep it in the bank and it's going to get 0.10% interest or whatever, or you can invest it in yourself and your business and get that back and touch lives more than even. I love money, and I'm not somebody who works for free. I want to make a lot of money, and I also change lives, that it's not a this or that. You can do both.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. And it was more about just inspiring them as they're either making a decision or just as they're on their journey to growing their business. What last words you want to leave with them?
I just really think that taking action is really important. And so if you're on the fence, take the action that's going to move you forward instead of doing something that's not going to move you forward. And I love the challenges that we get every month because they allow you to grow yourself I've become more articulate, I think, and more, I tend to teach from that level and to get down and be able to just write and put content out there and do videos and feel comfortable. Most people don't believe that I'm super shy, but I really am an introvert, and I'm shy, and I feel like I'm part of something.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing all those words of wisdom. I'm going to come back to you again when we wrap up. I just want to take a moment to do an invitation to you all who are here. This invitation only went out to those who are inside of our private community. This is not a public invitation that I made, and there are only limited spaces for each one. If you've been around for any amount of time to work with me privately one-on-one, the investment's going to be anywhere from $55,000 all the way up to 6 figures in order for you to do that. And in the other containers, it's more group containers, and we have our next level coaches that support you and accountability coaches that support you along the way. We lost a member of our community this week, and I think the overwhelming feeling that I had after sitting with the loss, because it was very sudden, is God reminded me of what I was here to do. Try not to get emotional while I talk about this, because I walked alongside of her for 4 years. And as I was pulling pictures just of that and to basically say, I love you, I went to the very, very beginning, to the first day where I met her in person. And that picture, as opposed to the latest of who she is in the world, was a marked and staunch difference. And it reminded me of what I'm here to do and what happens when I'm in close proximity with people, walking alongside of them. And so I decided to put together a few offers. I put together 4. Every offer at every level, no matter the investment, has some level of access to me for an extended period of time. So all of them have a minimum of 30 days access to me privately. There is a $1,500 offer, there's a $7,000 offer, there's a $15,000 offer, and there is a $37,000 offer. What I also know is we don't have a lot of time to be doing BS. And so people are like, well, I want the details of all the offers so I can make a decision. You already know if you want to work with me. You already know if you've been waiting on an opportunity. At these levels, there's no way to work with me privately, but I'm giving you that right now. So if you're feeling a tug and a pull right now, what I want you to know, or what I want you to do, is feel into which one of those levels is that tug, that pull, that yes, more aligned to. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's the $1,500 level, it is. If it's a $15,000 level, it is. And all you need to do is type "lead me" in the comment section, or you can message it to me. And then I will send you the details for that offer, and it will have the instructions on how to get started. On the $1,500 level, there's only 2 more spaces left. At the $7,000 level, there is 3 more spaces left. At the $15,000 level, there is 2 left. And at the $37,000 level, there is 1 left. So that is what's available. It goes away at midnight tonight. There will be no other opportunities. I will never offer anything like this again, because it's almost insane to do it. Especially considering I like to make sure that I'm honoring the clients who are investing at a high level to get access to me. But I just really felt led to do this. It's a short period of time, and it's a minimal amount of people, and it goes away today. So it's not coming back. This isn't a trick. I'm not going to offer it again next week, next month, the second half of the year, and there's no exceptions to that. So if you are or have been waiting on an opportunity or a sign, this is your sign. Midnight tonight, which today is the 31st of January, 2023. It will be over. I want to make sure that everybody understands, just in case you're watching this in 2024 in January, there is no offer. So that's all I want to share. I wanted to put that out there one more time to let you guys know what was available. And for those of you who have already jumped in, I'm so excited for you. And I'm just looking forward for us walking forward together on this journey side by side. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be intentional. That's the other thing. Tiffany, one last time, This is it. This is like your moment in the sun. If you were standing on a soapbox, what has to be said?
Connect to your sexual core, because it affects the amount of money that you make, and it affects, as women especially, our confidence levels and who we are and how we ask for things in our lives. And it's not just in your sexual life, it's in the boardroom, it's in the business world. It's proven that when you have an orgasm, you make more money and you put out a different energy, and people are just attracted to you.
If Tiffany's message speaks to you, connect with her. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Tiffany, for being here, being willing to share your story, the behind the scenes of it all, and giving your words of wisdom to everybody. I appreciate you so much. You guys will see her around in the community. Yeah, say hi, connect. And I know that I'm going to come back, and if you guys are asking questions or chiming in on chat, I'll come back. I'm sure Tiffany will come back too. So if you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and then we'll be hanging around answering those for you. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not going to stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously.